Hello, everybody. My name is Amul Patel. You're watching the Smoking Hot Coffee, the Internet Startup Show. We cover startups, monetization, design, marketing, all of it, and startup culture. I'm joined here with,
Hey guys, I'm Jeff Pelton and I'm down here in San Diego.
and this is Cup 14, and we're cranking along. If you want to reach Jeff, he's reachable at Comster. And if you want to reach me directly, I'm at Amul_Patel. So Jeff, Cup 14, a couple of weeks in. How's it feeling? How you feeling?
Yeah, gosh, we're moving right along. We hit double digits a few episodes ago and we're still doing it. So I'm excited about improving the website. We're going to try to start publishing this at a few other channels in the back end of the show, and hopefully you guys noticed that. So far, you guys have been watching through YouTube, but we're going to explore a MP3 and a video version that you can subscribe via iTunes or other podcast subscription players that you might use. So I'm excited to have that coming up pretty soon, but otherwise we're just moving right along, kind of trying to review these startups.
Yeah, so we're just cranking along, and I think that leads us right into our people that are actually watching the show and tuning in. So I want to do a quick shout out to the two awesome people that have finally commented on our show. We only had one comment for like a week or 2 weeks almost, and now we've got two comments on one page. Oh my God!
Yeah.
I don't know how to handle this much.
Well, and this video has only been up for half a day, maybe, right?
Yeah, so somebody's discovering us somehow. It's got already 11 views, and I know I didn't watch this 11 times, so somebody else must be watching it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
We didn't have any
definitely.
bots on this watching, so
Nope.
apparently there's some real human beings out here. Here's one, Oliver Gordon. I'm liking some stuff you cover, but a bit of honest criticism. I like some topics, but he thinks some topics could be better. He did like our talk about Craigslist and Metro Maps, and he feels that maybe we can't really choose what companies launch on the internet, but we can choose who we cover. So I think maybe
Yeah.
we need to be better about our curated list.
Yeah, I mean, I want to thank you guys for bearing with us and dealing with some of the good and the bad that we've kind of been going through as we've been starting up the show. But one of our intentions is to let smokinghotcoffee.com be our filter where you guys can go post the startups that you're passionate about, you're working for, the apps that you like and use every day, and you can rate them and kind of put your 2 cents and your opinion in on it. And those are the shows, the startups that we'll cover on the show.
Yeah, the idea,
So
Oliver,
that's our intention.
at some point, once we get a little bit more traction, we're going to have some sort of ranking algorithms, maybe something where we can figure out what startups are really kicking butt right now, what are controversial, whatever it is, more newsworthy, and then we can have our banter around that. So eventually, this will be a curated list by the community, and so hopefully some of this criticism is warranted, and I think we'll address that at a later date. And then that move. Let me just quickly jump over to Gordon. Gordon, thanks for watching, bro. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And I hope
Appreciate
you're
it.
enjoying that Starbucks milky drink there, whatever that is. What do you think that is? Is that a latte? That's a really white latte. I don't know what that
Yeah,
is. Anyways, but he looks like he's enjoying it. Thanks for watching. All right, so that moves us
yeah,
to.
it's good to see he's got coffee in his hand, right?
Yeah,
We
he
got to
does have.
always say
That's
I'm
right.
a big coffee fan. This is smoking hot coffee,
He's got some
and
coffee in his hand.
we
That's
got to
right.
get our caffeine fix, to do our job.
That's true. We should just
sometimes.
have
And
everybody send a photo of them drinking coffee. That'd be kind of funny.
yeah,
All right.
so Amul, doing a little bit of cyber stalking here. I want to also mention that Oliver, I think we noticed, was from the UK,
Yeah.
and maybe that's why he got an early view on the show, right? He must
Right.
be subscribed, and I think you uploaded this pretty late in the evening last night.
I
So
did, yes.
it's kind of neat to see our international friends joining in
That's right.
in the conversation with us. We are much appreciative.
Yep, yep. And he's from Leeds. I actually was born in Birmingham, so
Oh, yeah, you
kind of
mentioned that.
was in the neighborhood a long time ago.
Very
All right,
cool.
so our second commenter and viewer, Krista Gagan, said,
Yeah.
loved this podcast. I work at Motion Loft and really enjoyed watching. We really enjoyed watching your reactions to our product. Let me know if you need more information about the data we're collecting. So this is great. So people that we're
Very.
covering are watching the show. So Jeff, that leads me to a very important point. What if I talk shit, or what if I actually express my honest opinion and I really fucking hate the product? Are they gonna comment and say, you know what, you guys fucking suck and fuck off? Or how do we handle that, Jeff? Do we have to be nice to everybody?
No. I don't know. I mean, we got to be, we're not trying to hurt people's feelings or be mean or
We are not trying to do
hopefully
that.
everyone knows our, the kind of mask that we put on sort of when we go in to review a startup. We're sort of trying to be nitpicky and play devil's advocate and kind of boil down the business and see, pressure cook it to see what kind of critiques we can make.
Yeah.
And so, we hope that you guys all take that as actual positive, even if we give you guys some criticism, it's all in a positive light because we're rooting for all of you startups.
We are. Actually, yeah. I think you nailed it, Jeff. We are totally rooting for you guys.
And so while we may have critical reviews of individual pieces of a site or a certain an aspect that we saw for one moment, overall with the show, we're trying to put together a thesis of good startup practices.
Yes.
The sorts of things that are going to make a startup successful.
Absolutely.
And we're on the show, we're kind of documenting with the review section a lot of the trends that we see time and time again, and where people deviate, and the good and the bad. And,
absolutely.
Your guys' was definitely one of the good, though, the Motion Loft. And it's great to hear that you guys got a kick out of watching our reaction, and that's why we do this. I think it's I'm super passionate about product. Is where I come from as a product manager and UI UX kind of guy. Is really, it's at the end of the day, I think we were, Dave McClure was saying this, that it really all comes down to product.
It totally comes down to product. And speaking of which, I kind of of course I want to find out who you guys are, so I like to cyberstalk. And there you are, Krista, and you're hanging out on this. What is that? Is that a pipe or something? It's a large pipe.
Back in the day, I used to work for a company that laid storm drain.
Yeah, that looks like a storm drain or something. Either way, that's a pretty cool shot. Looks like you are pretty happy. You found a good spot to take a shot there, and so we're thrilled that you found us. And please tell your friends and let other people know that we exist, because we definitely are looking to network and get out through the startup community, and you're a part of that.
Yep.
So thanks again for watching. Thanks again, Oliver, for watching. And I think that leads us on to our first startup, unless you want to add something.
No, actually, to that end, real quick, these guys actually found me. I started a brief conversation with them on Facebook, but I just wanted you to, on the screen, if you could pop open our Twitter and Facebook page, just to let people know that we have these channels open.
Yes, we do.
We're going to continue, as we continue to improve our homepage, we'll reflect that on these. But we are posting, if you want to subscribe, in other words, through our Facebook page, you should do that. We'll post all of our videos through here, and the podcast and other information, as well as through our Twitter page. And this is a great way. You can see Motion Loft has liked Smoking Hot Coffee. And so it's actually a unique way through Facebook that pages can interact with each other as a brand. And so I don't know if our viewers find it interesting, but it's kind of fun to pop open the admin, to see this admin panel. In the spirit of showing some of our analytics and background. The insights graph is kind of fun. We'll continue to show you this as we grow.
And to be honest, Jeff, I'm committed to doing the show for a long time, and so we're definitely going to grow our audience. So it'll be very interesting to see where these graphs and what's going on with this stuff, and the viewers can take the journey along with us. So so that's the sort of behind the scenes. We're doing the behind the scenes with the YouTube, but I think you're totally right. We should do the same thing for Facebook and probably even Twitter. So
Twitter doesn't have as much of a behind
Twitter
the
doesn't
scenes,
have the analytics.
We do want you guys to follow us there if that's a channel that you prefer.
Yep. So you're right. They don't really have an analytics page really for their users, but yeah. So that's what's going on. Here's our Twitter page. Please follow us. Please like us. Please plus us. Please do something to us. So let your friends know. All right. So let's go. Let's start the show.
Sure.
So here we are. I went ahead and started off with DivShot. So let's check them out. I remember seeing these guys. I think they're connected with some LA-based incubator. I know they've gotten some funding that way, and I found them because I'm very interested in sort of rapid prototyping tools for web.
So this is one that you added.
Yep, that's right. And so I'm a big fan of designing in the browser. I'm a big believer that Photoshop is awesome, and Fireworks was great, but in many ways the browser and technologies in the browser and Chrome is the place I want to design in now. I don't want to design in a third party and then slice up and then bring it in and all that other shit. There are advantages. Of course, Photoshop has amazing technologies, all the filters and the ecosystem around Photoshop. But for the most part, man, it's the same old. I probably use 20% of the features in Photoshop. If somebody can just extract those 20% and bring it in the browser, and so I have layer control, I have layer the screen, all the layer blending modes, and movement and all that other stuff. If they did that within the browser, oh man, I would use Photoshop less and less.
All right, so for people that are listening, let me describe what the page looks like here. It's the interface builder for web apps, is what DivShot says they are. It's drag and drop, export to responsive HTML and CSS.
Yep.
And they're currently in beta, and there's a nice animated video showing screenshots of people using an editor, like a WYSIWYG type in-browser editor.
I love this part. I love the fact that they have a silent time-lapse video of their product in use. I love that. And this is one of the more unique use cases of this. I think a lot of startups should do this. This whole time-lapse in use type video. It would be so cool if all the other sites did this, I think. Especially if they tend to be tooling, or if they tend to have a lot of screens and there's a lot of this
I love this. I've kind of mentioned this in some previous marketing material we've seen, where it's the animated GIF style video without clicking, like an animation without having to click play. I noticed there was a play button there. It must expand out into more information, but or bigger, like a YouTube video probably. But the animation without having me to initiate it is very important. Useful.
It's critical. I think.
And
really
some other
helps.
People do it even in very small decorative ways. You know, almost like the odometer counter or something subtle. But showing off the product front and center is the proof that you are proud of what you you're standing behind what you built.
I love it.
Before you're trying to sell it, you're kind of.
I love it. So they've got the animated. They've got the animated kind of product use, and then right next to it, they've got the join the beta today, and they've got sort of a lead gen form.
So they got the call to action right next to it.
Call to action, sign up. I'm not so sure if I'm ready to sign up there, and right now, since we're doing this recording, I'm not going to hit play. I'm going to continue to scroll down the page. Then we've got the whole go further faster. DivShot combines the speed of drag and drop mockup tool and the beauty of hand-coded HTML and CSS. And
so
honestly,
now this is like just one of those screenshots, but bigger.
Yes, exactly. And this totally goes in the product, shows the HTML CSS panel. This is exactly the kind of thing that I've been looking for. This problem that bridges the Chrome Inspector or the Safari or the Firebug to Photoshop and being able to kind of work in the browser closer to the metal, you know. I'm not so sure if designers specifically, that because they're scared off by code, would like this much code showing. But this could be, they could have a gentler introduction to designers that have a phobia of code. And maybe they could have an easy mode, and then they could have more of an advanced mode, and then eventually graduate some of the code-phobic designers to experiment more with the actual code itself. But it's got a responsive to the core, built on Bootstrap, which has got a huge ecosystem around, and then of course exports out HTML, CSS. And then after that, it describes that there's a full-page HTML editor, so you can code and modify. And then below that, we've got sort of the Twitter social proof, talking about how this might be the next generation of
Oh wow, look at that! It's scrolling by.
Yeah. So as I hover my mouse,
I was going to ask if what you think of this Twitter social proof is probably one of the best I've seen recently.
Yeah, no, this is very
the sites we've covered. These are actual tweets. Scrolling by adds a timeliness feeling to it.
I love this. Look at this. I highly recommend DivShot. Dear average front-end developers, you might lose your jobs. So yeah, this is clearly a way to bridge the designers to the front-end developers, and maybe even skip out the front-end developers. But my opinion is it's a huge market. There are some designers that like to tweak code but may not want to start off writing everything, so it might give a little access point to them. I don't think front-end developers need to worry about losing their jobs, because there's so much shit changing all the time in front-end. It's a massive...
That's one of the questions I would have in the product, is how much is the future, the development of HTML5 and some of those other components, right? So I mentioned about some other UI components for other front-end jQuery, Backbone, Angular, Bootstrap are all going to have components in different kind of shapes and forms.
That's true.
I wonder how well it will
be supported under their own framework.
Yeah, so I mean, for typical HTML, H1s and everything, I wonder, it's great, but I wonder how the complexity...
Right, that's a good point.
How it'll handle complexity as that evolves.
I completely agree. Once you start joining onto a framework, now you're kind of stuck with that framework in some ways, right?
Yeah, and it ultimately matters how well this integrates with your existing tooling and workflow and all of that.
Okay, so back to now, but let's go back. So I'm gonna go ahead and go to our little thing. So design-wise, I think it's beautifully designed. So I'm going to go ahead. Oh, looks like my stars are a little off aligned, so the CSS may have been messed up in Safari. But I'm going to go ahead and give it, if I can click on it, I don't know if this is going to work. 3 stars, 4 stars. Okay, there we go. I'm going to give it a 4 stars because it's really beautifully designed, really clean. Originality, I think it's somewhat original. It's not complete. It kind of reminds me of Dreamweaver in the browser. So I'm still going to give it a 4 because it's really cool. Survival. Now, in my opinion, this is really targeted towards sort of like the more younger, more hip, not hip, that's the wrong word, the more sort of seasoned designer slash front-end developer, because I think there's a lot of crossover there. And possibly even back-end guys will probably want to build up quickly, mock up a page, and they may not want to futz around with the code itself. I don't know, but I do think there's a very clear demo and very clear vertical. So I give their survival pretty high marks. I give it a 4. And marketing, marketing, it seems like they're getting a lot of Twitter buzz, so they're probably doing good there. My only question, again, with the survival, Jeff, is I don't see a money. I don't see a sign up for. There's a beta, but how do they make money? Like, where do they make money?
Good question. Well, so I was going to say in our survival ranking, how do we explain like acquisitions? You know, to me, this tool seems like what Dreamweaver could be, or something, right?
Yes.
I mean, has anyone used Dreamweaver in the last decade?
I haven't opened up Dreamweaver. I mean,
it was
forever.
kind of, you know, in the day of like Hot Dog Edit or whatever the other HTML editors were, front page, and since then it's just not handled the complexity very well.
Well, so check it out. So it's an interface It's an interface builder for web apps that export out clean and semantic code. So they're targeting towards professionals, and so professionals meaning front end guys, back end guys, some designer types. So possibly a subscription model could work there. Possibly. I don't see, they're not charging right now, so it's it's a passion project. Maybe they got some funding. Okay, I don't know, Jeff. I think they'll do okay. They just have to get enough guys signing up for this. It's a very, very targeted product, so that's good. They're solving a clear problem. That's really great. What's your thoughts, Jeff?
Yeah, I'm not sure what they're going to do with this as a business, if that's what you're looking at, the survivability.
Survivability.
I think they're going to have to figure out a partnership, or I'm sure somebody will see the value and the need for this enough that they may approach them, and I mean, they could end up licensing the technology for somebody's other page editor, because the thing is, you still have to export this as HTML, and to me, I'm trying to figure out how that would work into my workflow.
That's a really good point. Could it be?
So for some people, it's going to be really useful, and for other people, they're going to be scratching their head trying to figure out how to make it work. But for the people that it works for, it's tremendously useful.
Okay, I'm directing at you, Jeff. Is this something that you would at least try and play around with as a quick mock-up tool, or you prefer to work in just code and the Firebug inspector process? What's your feeling?
Yeah, I think the latter. I'm pretty fluent in Chrome and Inspector, and we've talked about trying to make that glorious connection from there to our CSS file in our code, but the unfortunate nature, some of these things, the way that stuff connects is that your CSS file may be compiled through PHP or through your server,
through Rails or whatever, and there's a
exactly. So there's always some complexity there into doing these handoffs in the workflow, but we do appreciate these guys giving it their best, and it looks like a great tool that hopefully they can evolve into connecting. Maybe
honestly, I think this could be a wonderful teaching tool. If you're getting a bunch of guys starting off and they want to prototype some pages and look at the resulting HTML and do some tweaking, they could throw in a tour thing on top and maybe charge $9.99 for
I actually had an old colleague asking me about help HTML, CSS stuff, and because somebody was in college taking a class, and they were like using Dreamweaver, and I'm just like, oh man, like there's got to be a better way to do this.
Dreamweaver blows.
It's good to see HTML development getting a little cleaner.
And I like the fact that it's in the browser, so these guys are definitely on the right track. Maybe they're hunting around for their. They're hunting around for their business model. I hope they find it. It's a great tool. So let's go on. Here we are at funrise.com. So Funrise, invest in local real estate. Okay. So we've got a sort of a big banner in the middle, all the way to the edge. It's a big white, bold headline. Invest in local real estate. 195 people have invested 3.2 million in their neighborhoods. That's interesting. They've got a little stat there. Then they've got a big join now or watch the video. Now I'm not going to click join now, no matter how big this is, but I might
Right.
click on watch the video. And then underneath that, they've got the three, the three column, pattern with the invests, invest in local real estate, own real equity, earn potential financial returns, build in the city you want to live in. And then below that, they've got this, they've got the press mentions: Atlantic City, Fox News, Washington Post, VentureBeat, Bloomberg. Okay, so they've got some mainstream. And then below that, we've got that three column sort of pattern: how fundraising works, a video, an explainer video. Teach for America and fundraise. So there's some Teach for America partner there, and then below that and next to that is testing the waters. Fundrise is testing the waters to determine market demand and gauge potential price and volume for a new offering. Huh, that's interesting. I don't exactly know how that works, but so far, Jeff, I'm getting the idea that this is fundraising for local neighborhoods, buying buildings. It'd be interesting to be able to put in my zip here and see local real estate that is possibly in their database for me to fund, right? Or
Yeah.
wouldn't that be
Yeah,
the
what
next
does it
step?
say under testing the waters? Fundraise is testing the waters to determine market
Market
demand
demand
and
and
gauge
gauge
potential
potential
price.
price. I don't know what that means, but I'm going to go
Mm,
ahead
yeah.
and I guess let me click on investments. So I'm going to click on investments at the top. They do have that. So here we go. Featured offering: boutique retail renovation, Washington D.C. I can click. Okay, so there's also a listing here. So we've got a marketplace, private offerings, Washington D.C., Washington D.C. So most of these are in Washington, clearly, and so they're proudly designed and built in Washington D.C. Okay, so here we go, Jeff. Chicken egg problem, a marketplace. Clearly,
Yep.
this is a very Washington D.C. oriented startup, and they're focused on that. So my question to you, Jeff, is why would I, being in LA, why would I even continue on with this website? Should I just, okay, this is a cool idea. This is about Washington. Let me skip over this.
Well,
How
if you're an
how
investor and if you're their audience, maybe you think it's interesting what they're doing in DC and you at least want a notification when they bring it to your city,
right?
would be the typical sort of call to action. At least get notified when we get there.
Okay, that's a good idea.
Hoping, if they plan to, to grow
So
to
that
more
that
than
brings up a
just
good
their
question.
city.
Shouldn't they have a list of the 40 major metros
Cities.
down to the bottom? Shouldn't they say coming in
Yeah.
Chicago and LA, and should at least have that option and do a lead gen? So if I say, oh, let me type in LA, oh, you're from Culver City, Los Angeles.
Yeah,
Here,
they seem to
sign
be
up.
missing that. Yeah.
Sign up because we're going to be launching that major metro in I don't know 5 months or whatever hell. It'd be nice if they had that. I'm just gonna go ahead and click on join now. Let's see what they're, and then there's a LinkedIn, Facebook. Okay, so yeah, this isn't selling me right now, but I think the model is interesting. I'm gonna go ahead and view offering. So now they've got a profile page for this test the waters, and I've got a little disclaimer saying, no, we are not obligated, and residents of Virginia accepted.
Residents of Virginia. Yeah.
I don't know. There's a bunch of legalese. So clearly there's a lot of legalese. But let's just go ahead and let's examine the way they're doing this. So we've got a two-column layout. The left column, they've got a big image. Reminds me of Kickstarter and all these other sites, the marketplaces. Are you interested in this offering? Usually this is a video or an image, right? And then they've got a 3-tab thing, and they've got an overview for this property. And on the right, sorry, they've got a sort of a slider where it's $1 million. They're looking for $1 million, or they've raised $1 million of a $300,000 goal.
It's a
406
progress
people
bar.
invested.
So
Wow.
it's a progress bar showing 355%. So they've overfunded it.
This is awesome. All right, so the concept is cool. Now they've picked a building. They've gotten a bunch of people to invest. 406 people. There's a slider showing a goal. They've 400% their goal. So and then there's a button that says I'm interested in invested. There's planned investors. Underneath that there's a developer, the main principal, maybe the underwriter behind this. And I don't
Well, look at
understand.
that social proof, the planned investors on
Yeah,
the right.
this is very
I
cool.
mean, those are people that have committed money, I guess, to
Yeah, they
this
have committed.
project, which is impressive.
So my question to you, Jeff, is what do I get for this? Usually in the Kickstarter, there's like, if you invest this is what you get. If you invest this, So is
Yeah.
there a okay? There is an
Well, I
annual.
guess you get to improve your neighborhood.
Yeah, you do get to improve your neighborhood. So look at this. There is an 8 to 12% annual return. There's a
Okay.
minimum $1,000 to $5,000, and the payback is between 3 to 5 years. This is very interesting. So
Wow.
So this is a very,
There,
very, it's a
there it
very
is.
cool concept.
Plain numbers right there.
It's a very cool concept. If any real estate developer, commercial, residential, real estate people are watching this in Los Angeles, build a LA version of this, because I
Yeah.
think this could work. Real estate is definitely on the rise. I know in the Bay Area, it's fucking blowing up. Silicon Valley, it's crazy over there. I know in Los Angeles, it's still fucking crazy expensive around me. I don't know about you in San Diego, but it's expensive. And real estate, I know, is finally starting to, it's starting to go up again. So, I definitely think if somebody decided to go ahead and create verticals for different major metros on this, I think they could probably do well. I don't know how they would advertise. That's my next question. How do they market something like this, Jeff? Like,
Good question. The
do,
hamsters are running right now. I don't know.
would you just would you contact people in the neighborhood? Maybe go after some neighborhood press or larger, the big
Yeah,
grocery
probably.
store.
That might be what it is. They try to probably just get good press, do you think, with the goodwill people that want to try to pitch in here. I think the magic is the investors, right? The fact that people, it said minimum was $1,000, I think.
Yeah,
The
1 to 5K. Yeah.
And how many people they had do this? So
They had
it's
406 people so far. Yeah.
pretty awesome for $1 million. So it's
Yeah.
pretty awesome that people here were willing to, invest a few extra dollars, but it's not an insignificant amount.
It isn't. It is an insignificant amount. And I have to tell you
help
though,
make this a reality, which is like, I think that's what the internet and what this marketplace is trying to achieve, is like make these projects happen that would not have otherwise been possible.
yeah, I completely agree. I'm always curious as to how do they let people know. I know with billboards and electronic billboards and the targeting, and even that startup we were looking at yesterday, there's probably ways of finding like the busy intersections. Like if you look on the map, maybe these are massive busy intersections. The guy puts up a big massive electronic site. Hey, go to fundraise.com / progression place and invest in this corner. We're looking at 400 people throwing $5,000 each or whatever it is, and you're gonna get your money back.
I doubt they would advertise on a billboard for something like
You
this.
never know,
but
man.
they
I think
could-
this could be totally. I think it'll totally work for neighborhood type advertising. I think
Maybe
it'll totally
billboards
work.
are pretty expensive, but
They
I don't know, man. I think they get that doesn't spread them out enough either.
Yeah,
They need to the thing is, these are very specific target people that they need to hit, which have an extra $1,000 that they're willing to invest into their local community.
Right.
So I'm expecting that they're going to get some good PR, some good,
People in the
like
neighborhood.
yeah, just
leaders
local
within the
neighborhood. I mean, it's only in one neighborhood, one city for a reason. All they need, I think that's how I would do it anyways.
Okay. All
Just
right.
try
Well,
to get as much goodwill from the local, all the community members that are, more than thrilled to, if it's anything like Kickstarter, you don't know if you're going to get the money back. Right. And I think that a bunch of people might be totally okay with that if they feel that the value proposition is improving their neighborhood.
Gotcha.
So I don't know that a billboard would be able to sell that message.
I don't know either, but I do know that targeting neighborhood billboards are very effective. Also approaching some of the larger retailers or stores in that area, because a lot of people congregate there, and possibly, might be a way to target those neighborhoods. I'm not quite sure, but either way, it's a very cool concept. Wish these guys a lot of luck. Let's move on, if you're okay with that. Oh, we gotta do our ratings. So design-wise, I think design is pretty good. I'd give them a 4. Originality. I don't think I've ever seen this before. In my opinion, I think this is pretty original. They are using the Kickstarter model for real estate investing, but I'm gonna go ahead and give them a 4 for that. Marketing. I'm not seeing a lot of information on marketing. I do know they have to, to get a lot of community people behind it. They'll probably do the social media there. And survival. It looks like they've already hit their marks on some of the first properties, so I give it a 4. I think these guys are going to do okay. Jeff, I don't know if you want to go over your ratings.
Yeah, you can see my ratings there. I kind of agree with you on the design. The originality, I think we keep seeing these marketplaces. It's neat to see it in the housing part, but again, we need to figure out how they're going to survive outside of DC and how they're going to market that to the mainstream.
Yeah, I completely agree. Okay, so moving on, we're at olliefactory.com. All right, so meet Ollie. So there's a big photograph, big banner with a picture of a desk, a computer, a laptop connected to this box. and in white it says "Meet Ollie, the web-connected smelly robot."
So we should mention you added this to the list.
I did add this to the list.
And again, we're going to keep mentioning who adds them to the list. Right now, it's just you and I, but hopefully others will pitch in, and we want to feature who contributed. So this is my first time seeing this, and I'm giggling here. This is pretty funny. The web-connected smelly robot.
Smelly robot. I like that.
And it's got little holes in it that normally you would see in like a heat vent, like on electronics, right? Like like my speakers on my Mac have little tiny holes, but they seem to be cut out in like a sunglass shape, right?
Exactly.
Or is that just what I'm seeing?
No, that is a sunglass. I think they're trying to humanize the little box with that. So it says link Twitter, Facebook, or any online account to your Ollie, and then below that there's an illustration. Anytime an @ mentioned, comment on a post, or any notification at all, Ollie will gently release a scent into the air around you. Very, very cool. Very creative.
Cool graphic showing a laptop with some social icons and a cable to the Ollie releasing some
scent in the air. So it'd be very interesting. How to know what exactly is the scent. So it says customize Ollie with any scent you like. Essential oils or your partner's perfume. It's really easy to add different smells to Ollie. This reminds me of some of the early experimentation they did with movie theaters back in the 50s and 40s here in the U.S., where they added like smelling devices connected to film to add additional senses that directors and producers of these movies can throw in as another element to bring people into the movies. Of course, it didn't get widely distributed and never really took off, but the idea of using smell distribution is a very cool idea. I'm not sure if these guys are going to take off, but
keep going down here. What else?
So yeah, all right. So I'm going down. There's Meet Ollie
stackable, so you can have
different smells with different notifications. Okay, all right.
Yeah, you need one scent for the stocks doing well, and another burning, awful, burnt rubber smell for the markets crashing. Or, that's like we've seen these sort of notification devices for LEDs, right? Like certain sorts of light up colors.
Yep.
So they typically will tell you, oh, your friend is online, or the market's up or down.
I have to say,
green or red.
This to me is just another dimension on the user experience. You could theoretically see a large company like a Facebook, possibly even a Twitter, joining forces with these guys and coming up with a range of scents, and then you can buy it from Facebook or Twitter. They mail it to you, and then you connect it, and it just adds another dimension to a very popular social service. I think it'd be really cool. It'd be great if these guys partner with somebody because they can get some instant distribution that way. So yeah, let's move on to our ratings here. For originality, I give these guys a 5. I think it's very cool, very original. Design-wise, I give it a 4. Very nicely, cleanly designed, really minimal. Survival, this is a tough one. It's very experimental. I'm looking for some sort of large partnership here. I'm not seeing it, so I'm going to give it a 2 because I want to be hopeful. Marketing, same thing, 2. What's your thoughts, Jeff?
Let's see. The survival. I had to give it a low score just to be brutal. It's going to be tough, but I love the idea.
I love
the originality is pretty cool. Not them. We've seen this before for LEDs, and you may have. People have thought of it for sure. It's not.
Come on, man. Nobody's hitting the nose yet, bro.
I'm just gonna let you know that I'm gonna, for my review, my stars, I'm gonna try to reserve the 5 for the all out, blast offs.
All right, fair enough.
For that reason, I didn't, totally catch me off guard, but I do commend them for going into this space.
Yeah, man.
The marketing,
awesome.
I think, needs a little. Let's see. The marketing's, the survival will be tied to marketing, right? If they can, it's cool they've got the sunglass little branding, in such a inanimate object, but hopefully they can crack, have a cute campaign to connect with people online, so that it'll,
I completely agree.
I mean, the viral opportunity is huge, right?
Yeah, viral opportunity is really big, so they've got to do that definitely. All right, so let's move on. Now we're at Glider. Glider.com. Close deals faster. So we've got a large slideshow here. Make your contract process a competitive advantage. Glider brings clarity and workflow to the deal process, helping teams work together to get their deals done. Okay, so then they've got a call to action. Start your free trial in blue, and then right next to that they've got several screenshots below, one at the very top, and several in the back. And it looks like we've got some profiles, looks like some notifications, and some progress bars next to it on the right. All right, so and then below that we've got below the slideshow we've got gliders trusted by Zillow, Web Trends, Simply Measured. So it looks like a lot of startups are using this for their own internal, maybe their own biz dev, setting up partnerships, content plays. I don't know what kind of partnership deals that they're doing, but they're trying to do it all online. They're using Glider to help with that contracting process. So I think that's pretty cool. BizDev, I don't, Jeff, if you've ever heard that term, fatigue. Have you ever heard of that term, deal fatigue?
Deal fatigue?
Yeah.
No.
So they've used that as a term to suggest that when you're going back and forth and you're trying to set up a sort of content deal or traffic deal or some sort of SEO or joint venture or whatever deal between two different parties, especially online startups, a lot of times it starts getting nitpicky and it just things get stretched out over weeks, turn into months, and there's
Sure.
this fatigue and the initial excitement to get it done starts to get low, and then people don't give a shit as much, and so anything that could help that process go faster and keep clarity and show that there's a progress bar and create further tension is great. It's awesome. So right here it says keep the deal moving. Define milestones, assign responsibilities, always know where you are. So yes, I think that's what they mean by that. Keep the deal moving. Don't let the
Always
deal,
be closing, right?
always be
You know,
closing. Always like, okay, what's next? What's in it? Who's responsible? So here it is. Annotate documents, request approvals, sign in, all of that in one place. Okay,
So
so
it
here
sounds
we
like
go.
they have the deal flow ready to go so
Yeah.
that there's no holdups,
Yeah,
right?
so
You
they,
don't want any friction or hangups. You get to, you finally get past one step and
yeah.
you're not ready for the next thing, and that's no
Exactly.
good.
Exactly. So in my opinion, this is another reason why you probably want to move away from a Gmail and want to get out of attaching proposals to Gmail emails and forwards and all that crap and just keeping it all in one place. And so this is a very cool idea. Excellent idea, in fact. I'm a big fan of this.
Yeah, so I'm going to give them a 5 on survival because it looks like they've got some clients already there who I'm sure wouldn't
and check it out. Look at
don't have anywhere else to go. This looks like a pretty unique product.
Yeah,
So I'm going to
absolutely.
give them a good originality score too.
Absolutely. They're definitely solving a problem. And I also like the fact to see how teams use Glider. They've got legal teams talking about how to deal with all the legal bullshit, especially get a deal done
Sure.
and the
Yeah.
partnership and the joint venture figured out. Management teams, high level dashboard for the management guys, so they want to know quickly what's going on, but they don't want to know all the nitty gritty. So maybe they get a specific couple of metrics out of that. And corporate dev guys, biz dev guys, it says spend significantly less time babysitting the contract process. This is awesome. Great idea. How do they make money, Jeff? Where's the features, resources, about us? How do
Try it.
There's a
Try it now.
okay. There's a lead gen accepting early customers. They're not using the word beta. They're using early customers, Jeff.
Yeah,
Early
so that looks
customers.
like a Google form
It
almost.
actually looks like this reminds
or
me
a
of 37
Woo-
Signals, the way they do
or
their design.
Woo form or whatever.
Or WooForm. Yeah, it does look very much like WooForm. Yeah.
Or whatever it's called. But yeah, that's kind of disappointing. But may only take them a few of those big clients on the homepage if they do indeed have them.
Yeah.
To keep this going.
And it looks like they've gotten some traction in the startup arena, so that's probably definitely they're targeting that. Let me see where they're located. I wonder if they're in San Francisco. Let's see, contact us.
Yeah, how about if you go back to our page, you can see their angel
Oh,
link.
okay, that's a good idea. You know
And
what? They're in
leave your-
Portland. Wow. Okay, that's cool. All right, so let me go back to the rating here. Design-wise, beautifully designed. I love it. Really, really nice. I give it a 4. Originality. I don't think I've ever seen anybody do a web app in the contract process arena, so I give them a 4 out of this. Marketing, I would have liked them to see a way of playing with it. A tour, it would have been nice. I didn't see the tour on there. So maybe I give them probably a 3 on this one. And survival, I give them a 4 because it looks very, very tight. They're definitely going for the startup guys. I think it's going to be a win here. Jeff, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's original enough that they have survival if they already are. Those clients are already using them.
Yeah, yeah. So let me just quickly go to their angel list. Let's see if they raise any money. Brings clarity, blah, blah, blah. Founders. Oh, they got some investors. Oh, they got a lot of investors. Wow. Okay, good. They've got 7 investors, and they were part of TechStars, possibly even. Yeah.
It's
These
great.
guys are going to do well. I think these guys are going to do great. So Survivor, I think, yeah, four stars is good. Definitely not a Me Too. They're definitely pretty unique. All right, let's move on. Let's see here.
Looks time like we got time for just one more.
Okay, Medium. Medium.com. What a great domain name. Wow. Medium. That is a great domain name. One word, not a funky spelling. Spells exactly how it sounds. So we got a big a big image here, full width, sharing ideas and experiences moving humanity forward. Okay, so it asked me to sign in. I'm not going to sign in, but I'm going to go ahead and slide down. Let's see if there's no slider. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and read more. Read more. That takes me to about. Is based on the belief of sharing ideas, moving forward, blah blah blah. It looks like Ev Williams is behind this. Wow, Mr.
Yeah,
Twitter
I think
himself.
This is
Yeah, Mr. Twitter himself, Mr. Blogger himself is behind this.
Right.
Holy shit! So this guy is a motherfucker. It's Ev Williams, man. This is the man. This is almost like Zuckerberg saying, "I'm going to launch something." Yeah, he's huge. Obviously, he knows what he's doing. I don't really understand what's going on here because there's a lot of stuff to read.
Yeah, scroll down to the next paragraph. Why stop there? I think this is an evolution. Obviously, he's been associated. He came from Blogger, you said, right?
Yeah.
And obviously, they were doing the podcasting at Odeo, which turned into Twitter.
Yeah.
This guy is about publishing on the internet.
Yeah, he's all about publishing. Yeah.
And Medium is the perfect .com as a name for a medium platform
Right.
to be the literally the medium for your media.
My question here, Jeff, how much do you think he paid for that?
And your blog.
How much do you think he probably paid for that domain, man?
It's a great question.
50,000? 50,000. I say 50 grand. 40.
Yeah, at least.
At least. That's a big money word.
If you knew it was Ev, you'd charge him twice.
Exactly. Ev, for Ev, it's $480,000.
Exactly.
Put my
So
kids through
you
college.
never know what they could have gotten away with, but
Yeah, you never know. But all right.
but it's an awesome name for that matches the product. It's still simple.com. Love it.
Okay, so again, Jeff, I'm trying to figure out what is it that this is. Is this a blogging platform? But our killer team. Let's see. Anyone can read or write, give feedback on Medium posts. So clearly, it's like another version of Blogger. It's like a blogging platform. Okay, I'm still reading.
This is not too big, not too small. So, maybe there's a bit of an identity crisis with Twitter not being enough characters, right?
Okay.
Right?
Okay, so
I assume that's why, this would pick up where Twitter leaves off at 140 characters, or what are you getting from this?
So first of all, I want to comment on the beautifully designed site. I can't begin to tell you how gorgeous this layout is. They're using the full width thing. They've definitely are going towards more white space, tons of white space, beautiful topography. From a design standpoint, it kicks ass. If I'm trying to court an author and I want to try to introduce them to another blogging platform, design has to be like the tits. I mean, it has to be kick ass, and I think they've nailed that. Now, my next thing is how are they different? So design looks.
Well, okay, there you go. You need to dive in here. I'm still trying to, get to the content, right? Like that was a beautiful page you were looking at, but
so
it kind of left me wondering, what am I even looking at?
Beautiful images. It's reminding me of Tumblr a little bit, but I'm not. Okay, I'm clicking on her. Let's click on one of her posts. Okay, this is just an image. Okay, so
I think there might be an iPhone app that goes with this that makes it easy to share these types of things. I'm assuming.
I don't know, bro. I'm trying to read like. Yeah, honestly, Jeff, I'm having a hard time getting to actual. Here we go. So, okay, so as far as I can tell, Jeff, this is just a beautifully designed blogging platform, keeping things really consistent. I'm not so sure if that's enough to pull people away from a Blogger, because Blogger is hideous in my opinion, but or WordPress, or even Tumblr, because this kind of reminds me a lot of Tumblr. Tumblr's very minimal. What's your thoughts, Jeff? Ev's not an idiot. He's probably got a lot of startup buddies. He probably knows how to get some traction. He probably knows how to make this cool that the cool kids are using. He's probably got enough guys on his team to he's already got enough seed. The people that are seeding the network, right? His in crowd.
Yeah, why don't you go to the homepage and join this with our Twitter account so we can see what it looks like? I mean, I'm trying to figure out the exact hook to get people using this because Yeah, there's so many
Oh, I gotta
competitors.
sign in
So,
and all that stuff. Okay, I didn't
well,
sign
yeah,
in
why
with
don't you
Twitter.
use our Twitter
You
account?
know, I don't
So
even know what the hell it is right now. I've got to go to our credential page because we
the
all have
one that we
different
showed at the
accounts.
beginning of the show.
I know, I know.
It's
Sorry, guys,
yeah.
I should have logged in. But yes, without signing in though, I have to tell you, I'm not seeing the difference. I mean, visually, I am seeing it, but I don't know. For me, it's not enough.
Mhm.
But it is Ev is behind this, and I'm sure he's got enough well-connected buddies to push this. So for survival, I give it a 4. Marketing, I don't know, maybe a 3, maybe 4 because it's Ev. Originality, I would give it a 2, maybe 3. And design, I give it a 4. It's beautifully designed. How about you, Jeff?
Yeah, I think the design is really beautiful all around. It's very simple, right? There's not much to
Yeah,
it,
super
but that's
minimal,
also
super minimal.
yeah, but that's why I gave it marketing of a 3 because I kind of don't know what it is.
Yeah,
Uh, I mean, I suppose with something like this, I'll probably stumble upon it when my friends share a blog post on there,
yeah, yeah,
but or
yeah,
some author, right? Is
yeah.
like,
Who's
but
trending, right? Trends
yeah,
in some.
you end up reading content on
Yeah,
there, hopefully, but it would have been nice if you could have logged in on Twitter to see how the integration is,
yeah.
because again, well, what does this say about Twitter for Ev? Like, let's just step back from the product from a moment.
Okay.
Just in this sort of situation, right? You have Ev who comes from Twitter. I don't know how what his current relationship is with Twitter, but
Hmm.
this is sort of right up its alley, right?
Yeah,
Is
yeah,
Twitter? I mean, they're both the exact same thing
yeah.
in a broad
Essentially,
sense. They're both
they
publishing
they're
platforms for the
essentially the
internet.
same thing. Yep, yep, yep.
So, you know, what does that mean? Like, does Ev not think that
Y-
Twitter can evolve into this, or
You know
is
what?
the 140 characters the restriction that says
Maybe, yeah,
that's where Twitter
maybe,
ends and that's where this
yeah,
begins?
yeah. That's
Is
right. Yep.
minimum of 140 characters?
That's it. Maybe he's done.
How does more involved blog posting look like on Twitter with
Yeah.
photos and more content? It kind of brings up more questions to me than anything.
Yeah, I completely agree
How
with
these
you.
things all interact with each other and
I
what
do.
the motives are. Well, he still has some interest at Twitter, I'm guessing.
Right. I do agree with you. I think there is a bit of an identity crisis going on here, but maybe this is his long form play. The Twitter was his micro play. This is the long form play. Everybody else can have the middle play. Maybe he's doing long form. I know there's been some talk about slow web and this idea of like critical thought and having deeper, longer 1,500, 2,000 word posts as a minimum. As opposed to the lists and small 500,000 word posts and stuff like that. So maybe he's trying to do that. I don't know. Either way, it's beautifully designed. I know I've seen another one called Subtle. I forget how they spell that, but it's also beautifully designed.
Yeah.
He's got some good people seeding his
I
network.
think that's Dustin Curtis.
Yeah, exactly, Dustin
that
Curtis.
crew.
Yeah, and it's
Very
beautifully designed.
beautiful. Yeah, and they've got the people that are contributing were kind of hand selected.
That's
I
it, bro.
think.
That is it. Bottom line.
And that's what this looks like
Yeah.
almost as well.
That's
But
exactly it. It's a curated platform. It's him and his social club joined onto the team. They're publishing to this, and then if we're lucky, we'll get invited. It's the same thing. Dribble did this. All these guys, the first
think
4
you
or
can
5 months, is the
you can
same
join,
thing.
right?
You got to be invited. You got to, this one doesn't. I don't think you need to be invited to this one, but I think you got to have a good base of publishers that are adding to the network before you let everybody join in. All right. So with that, Jeff, I think that ends our show. Unless you have anything else to add.
No, I think that's good.
Okay, I do want to bring up our quick screenshot. I'm working in Photoshop, comping this in just to give people a little early taste of what's happening. Eventually, this is going to be our sort of our main view. We're going to have our websites all kind of in a grid kind of format here, and these are going to be their hovers. Here's our very minimal menu. We're still working on this, a way to add startups, and even have a job board, and then below, if you want to hire us or advertise on our network, you can. So this is just a little early preview on what we're working on, Jeff. So I want to let people know what's going on. Anything else you'd like to add?
No, it's cool. Yeah, I'm going to be working on that this week, trying to get the podcast RSS subscription available to everyone in iTunes, and working on the website and the homepage. So hopefully it will look closer to this and do a lot more for you. You can still go there today and add startups and rate startups just like we did on the show today.
Yep.
But we will be highlighting that on the show once we go over that on the website, once we clean that up. we'll polish it up, make it a lot easier to do, and we'll show you guys in real time on the show how you can do that. But
Yeah.
we definitely want you guys interacting, giving us startups to cover and ratings, and telling us what your how you feel about the current events.
Yep, absolutely. And to some degree, we'll be curating that as well. So if we have some idiots putting up garbage, yeah, we'll weed them out. But for the most part, I think right now, the people that have been watching are definitely right up our alley. These guys are. We want you guys to be watching. So far, we've really nailed our audience, so it's been really great. So with that, thanks for watching. We look forward to chatting with you again tomorrow. And yeah,
Yep. Thanks to everyone for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.
see you tomorrow.